Attempt 2. So, this is going to be the second try where I would like to try and record with the game controller top and bottom. So the bottom camera is actually mounted to the stand. So I've got my face, and below me is the top of the game controller, and then at the very bottom is the back of the game controller. So actually if I wave my face over here, you can see I got a camera aimed at the top, and I got a camera aimed at the back of the game controller. And I'm just using my face because I just think that people want to see that. I mean, I don't actually think they want to see my face. I just think that there needs to be a face. Otherwise, nobody has something to look at all the time and wonder why it looks like that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this loader ISS. And you can see that some of my icons are cut off on the side over here, but that's because I switched the screen to fit to this funny shape instead of the whole size using windowed mode. Not ideal, but hopefully you'll be able to see what you need to in the game. So actually I can already tell right away it's cutting off some of my little cameras on the side here, but you probably can't make the most of that anyways. So I'll once again switch to space mode, which is the builder mode, and there you can see my warp character right there. And I'll recenter the camera so I can see what's going on, and I'll just kind of walk around the course. So you can see here I have some freight. I'm going to dock to that freight. I'm going to bring it around the course. I'm going to put it on this freight dock, and I'm going to dock my ship over to here, and then I'm going to run around the course without the freight, and then I'm going to dock it. And I've already built out the course, and I'm going to try to record the course recording. So actually, in order to make the most of the recording, we need these cameras to be placed in the right places. You see right here, they're just oriented around my start location. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place these cameras somewhere strategically. So now I can just kind of cruise around. I could put a camera. I like this view right here, actually. Maybe this view. Then I'll see everything over the top of this. So then I'll select another camera. And I'll put that. Kind of want to watch this turn around. So I'll put that camera down here. Then I'll click to these other two. So then I could put a camera way over here. That would be pretty cool. And then I don't have one that's going to come down here, but that's a nice turnaround. So maybe I'll put one up here. Anyway. Oh, that was the same camera. Alright, put it back. Maybe that's right there. And I have one more camera. I'll go ahead and put it right here. There's going to be a lot of angles right at this first approach, this first come around, but nothing else. Alright, so next up, now I got to set up my hold-tight cameras. So hold-tight camera 1, so they're actually all set up in different places. So hold-tight 2, I'm going to switch out of space mode. Make sure that these cameras are where I think they are. Alright, so yeah, hold-tight 1 looks at the front, hold-tight 2 looks at it from the back. So these are going to follow the thing around. So actually I might back this one out a little bit more. And then I might leave that one there. And then the world tide cameras are from 2 different angles, but I might back them out just a little bit more. I don't know if that's the right idea. So this is some AI generated music right here. There's about 6 AI generated songs in there. Alright, that looks pretty good. So then I'm going to turn on half laps and I'm going to start the replay recording and start the race. Alright, so now I'm racing. You can see I got the throttle down here on the bottom of the joystick. Alright, so first I gotta come up to this grate and I gotta dock to it. And I went way too hard, I'm gonna crash. Oh, I tried to hit reverse as hard as I could, but it just wasn't enough. Luckily there's no damage or anything like that. So I'd like to please excuse my terrible audio. This is just an experiment. So I'm in this Snaplook camera, I can look around. But there's fans on in the background and microphones are picking up the audio from the computer. And I have 3 microphones on all around me, so I'm sure it's crazy. So first I'm just going to record the replay using the cameras that I can fly the best with. And that's pretty much just the FPV camera of whatever angle is the easiest to see. I don't really need the reverse camera. I just need the front-facing camera that can see. In this case, the primary FPV camera is blocked by the freight. So I switched to this camera that's up at the top here. And now I'm drifting. So I needed to be flying instead of trying to show off where the camera is. So I don't know if you could see that I zoomed out using my joysticks on the bottom. And I can actually look around using the joysticks on the bottom. And actually, maybe while zoomed out, you can see that I'm using the laterals to steer instead of the steering to steer. Because this brake being knocked out of the front, but not having any thrusters on it, it really affects the way that the thrust is applied to the total system. So the in-game explanation for that is that, the in-game engine explanation I should say, is that the ship is a physics object. It has a rigid body, which is the Unity physics object. And then the freight is a physics object, and so it has a rigid body just like the ship does. And they are connected with a fixed joint. So they have a joint, but the fixed joint means that, I'm going to hit reverse, that they can't move. So it might jiggle around a little bit when they bump into stuff, but it's unbreakable, invincible joint, and it can't move. So when the force is applied to the ship, it has to go through that joint, and the force that ends up being applied to the freight is only applied through that joint, the way that the ship pulls on it. So in some kinds of ways, the way that this flies is a little bit like a barge or something like that. That's probably a good way to imagine it. So this is not AI music, this is Brahms. Hungarian dance number 3. Alright, and I'm almost done bringing this freight around the course. Only got one more hoop, and then I gotta dock the freight. And you can't see what's going on here, but I know the course, but that's why the replay cameras are going to be so helpful. So here's hard because there's an object right in front of me. And I don't want to hit anything. So I need to slow it down. So just some theory discussion on my game controller. There's a lot of joysticks, but you might notice that I'm only interacting with a few of them at one time. And then most of the time I don't interact with all of them at once, which is, I'm sure you can imagine, a little bit more of a challenge than only a few at a time. But what it does is it allows me to have a bunch of controls on a joystick simultaneously without having to toggle various inputs on. And then the other thing too is actually there just aren't enough joysticks on a regular gamepad to fly a spaceship. Alright, so now I gotta line up my cursor here to this dock port, and this one is for docking freight to it. So what I'll do is I'll dock the freight, and then I'll undock from the freight using the same button. So it just automatically knows that I just docked the freight. So freight docked, and I would need to move away, come back to it, dock the freight again, and then I would be able to undock the freight. I just need to move away far enough so the cursor turns off. So now the regular docks, I need to switch to my docking camera for. I always forget to do that. Dock. And you see I'm a little bit out of alignment, but I'm still within the alignment window. And now I need to fly around the course again without the freight as fast as I can because it's a race. And this is still kind of a chuggy vehicle. It's a little bit like a truck of drones. It's got these two big heavy cans of gas that give you plenty of flight time and thrust in order to push around that freight. So presently there is not, and I may work on this at some point in the future, or I may not. I haven't sat around and desired it personally yet, although I see where it would be an interesting thing to have. I guess I feel like I'm still in training wheels mode with all of these different vehicles, but eventually I do want to have a propellant limit for the player, and that would be something the player could just adjust on a slider depending on what they felt like trying to work with. And then you would just use the reset button to reset your propellant. So if you were going to have a race, you would want to probably work out a limitation that makes sense and then kind of set it. Maybe I can even have it so that it saves that propellant limitation as one of the data bits that gets saved with the race. So you would load the race and it would load that propellant limitation right along with the race. Now what doesn't load with the race are the vehicle power settings and stuff like that. And that would be another thing that maybe I could have a way that those can be loaded with the race. Maybe they would load with the race, and then you could choose in the settings if you wanted to use the race stored vehicle power settings or your personal stored vehicle power settings. And then that way you could have, alright, so now the race is finished. So I'll move away. I'm actually going to turn off racing mode just so that some of that stuff goes away. And now, like I was saying, I unfortunately, I'm not really prepared to use the keyboard in this posture. So now what I need to do is I need to just jump all this to the side. Because I'm not going to use the game controller for the replay. So go up here to where I can reach the keyboard. And now I can stop recording and then move this wire out of the way of the camera. And if I start replaying, now I can access these different cameras. And I need to see which camera is looking where. Alright, so I'll stop replaying, start replaying again. Alright, so here I go. From the front view, here's the side view. So now coming up, I can also access these other views. Here's where I crash. So now I gotta line it up. Connect. So now I'm connected. Alright, so here it comes. Front. On the back. Let me see if my other cameras can see yet. Oh, this camera is stuck up here. So I can put that right there. Right, so now zooming in. You can see it. I'm trying to steer it around here. It's quite hard actually because you can't just accelerate to one side or the other. You have to accelerate by pointing the ship in the direction you want to accelerate. You can actually thrust in a straight line and wait, otherwise it doesn't spin. So here's where I was talking and I drifted too far. So now you see I want to shift back to the right, but I can't just do that. I have to swing all the way to that direction. Then I can kind of thrust forward a little bit, and then I can reverse a little bit, and then I can get spun around again. So now I'm going to try to get lined up to come into this hoop over here. Brake. Try to get aimed in there. I wonder if I bumped. Try to get aimed up correctly. Totally missed. And now I'm trying to hit full reverse. Get lined up back again. Should have put these player placeable cameras in a slightly closer position. close. Oh, looks like I got it. Now I'm gonna come over here. Got to the dock port. The end of the race right there. That's it. And from here on out, I was just probably jibber jabber, and the replay was still recording. So I mean, if I was like not happy with those camera angles, then I could turn the replay off and turn the replay back on, and boom, here we go. And once I can actually just go in and adjust my cameras while it's replaying. I was like, oh, this is no good. Just while the replay is rolling, I can work on which camera is looking where. These ones. Now I can't do that with the player placeable camera. You actually have to turn off the replay and switch to speech mode and use the same character that you used to build the race to move the player placeable cameras around. But that's because player placeable cameras are actually their fixed object. Alright, well that was my demonstration of setting up some cameras and then running through and then showing a replay. So hopefully the audio is bearable. I don't know what's going to happen, because like I said, I got the fans running, I got 3 microphones running, I got the speaker instead of headphones. It's just crazy in this place. And hopefully the screen, even though it's not the full size a game screen, is also able to show games. Alright, thank you very much.